Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast covers everything tech. The hottest mobile phones, tablets, games. We review it, rate it, test it. Whether you're Microsoft or Apple, Android or iPhone, we'll give it to you
again and again.
Black and white. The Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast.
Hello and welcome into the GSMC Technology Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Doherty. As always, this podcast is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. It is a Tuesday, and we're just here for a little bit of technology news and commentary by yours truly, as we're going to go over some stuff from around the technology world, tech world, gaming stuff. I know we have a lot of different news coming out. There's news now with some issues with the iPhone and some patent issues regarding the camera. There's reports out saying that Apple faces a camera patent lawsuit with the iPhone 8 and the iPhone X, maybe the little bit of technology issues with that one. We'll go into that in the, we're going to probably do that in the second segment. And then also in the first segment, we're going to do gaming stuff. We're going to talk about Fortnite and the new Fortnite Season 4, which is live now. Also, we have a release date now. The pre-order date for the Atari VCS is out. I know that's the kind of that throwback model. We're all seeing the pictures of it. The cool-looking Atari console has a pre-order date for y'all to get going on. And then also in that third segment, we're going to be talking about the Amazon has now announced that there is a pre-order. You can pre-order the new Oculus Go VR headset. That's also, it's going to be hitting the shelves ahead of this Facebook F8 launch, which is actually happening right now. The Mark Zuckerberg is having a keynote talk, I believe today, during this Facebook F8 seminar, which is all for all their developers, and then there's going to be a launch as the developers are going to have a getaway, but it's going to be able to be pre-ordered on Amazon now. For their set price, it's going to be $200 for that Oculus Go VR headset. It's going to be more of a portable headset from Oculus. The first one, Oculus is also, their parent company is Facebook. So let's go over that. We'll talk about that in the third segment. In the fourth segment, we're just going to go over some general news. I know Microsoft has come out with a new new look for Outlook. Remember, we talked about Gmail last time on the last show, and their revamp of their tools and all the different interface of that. Now we have Microsoft they have announced new features for their web service or email service, and then also we have some stuff regarding new little handy tech stuff for your more. If we can go into the phones a little bit further, we're gonna talk about some stuff that you can put on your iPhone, and there's some handy gadgets now that we can have to maybe upgrade our pictures, our photo taking ability. I know it kind of goes hand in hand now with this fact that iPhones are having some lawsuit issues. I'm sure it's all going to get figured out, but there is a patent lawsuit over the iPhone 8 Plus and iPhone X cameras. All right. So first off, we're going to go into Fortnite and the Season 4 update. It is live. I know there's lots of new stuff you can do. I'm sure everybody who's playing Fortnite out there is already trying it. For those who don't know, Season 4 is going live, and Fortnite. What a game! It's come out, and it's kind of just been that giant of a game where you just obviously go download it for free. It's kind of like where, hey, you can play. You don't have to go to the store and go buy it or anything. You just download it off of your console, whatever store you use. But I know everybody was all worried about that comet that was kind of showing up on the Tilted Tower. It was like, what's going on? What does this mean? I know Season 4 has been announced. Well, I know I talked about the fact that they had a little bit of a teaser trailer, teaser picture before, but now it is live. As now we have these new features that include the hop rocks, low gravity, and then a huge crater that everybody's kind of figuring out what to do in there. But in Fortnite, in the opening event, the Comet obviously spent most of last season. Everybody was like, "Oh, what's the deal with this Battle Royale map?" As they decided to level the Dusty Depot instead of Tilted Tower, which is still standing. So I know people will now find that big hole crater in where the Dusty Depot used to be on the map there for Fortnite. But definitely other areas on the map that have been damaged by this. I mean, they were kind of just it's the fact that it's kind of this live changing game. It's like shaping and evolving the way it is by itself is pretty darn cool. But yeah, I mean, for people who are looking for just a little bit more of the change, maybe you guys don't like this, maybe you do like it. The fact that this is coming out and now is that we have a new map location on the map, the northern part of the map called Risky Reels. So if you guys haven't gone out there and checked that out, I'd go out and log into Fortnite now and try and go figure out what's going on down there at the Risky Reels on your Fortnite map. I mean. The game is, like I said, it's got a self-evolution. They're calling it a Season 4, too. So, the fact that I've never seen a game, like Season 4 of a game. Like, usually you think that's like a TV show. The fact that it's evolving in itself, you have to go buy a new, Fortnite 2, or all these Call of Duty games come out, and like there's, how many Black Ops games are there? 3 or 4 games, and then we're going to get, I think the next Call of Duty coming out is going to be Black Ops. A Black Ops version. I know I saw the hats everybody's wearing with the little 4 bars. Like, that's the new logo for Black Ops. That's the new logo. We already passed Modern Warfare. Now we're Advanced Warfare and what have you. But just want to let you guys know that Fortnite has come out with a new season. It is live, and there's lots of cool new stuff. Obviously, we saw what the comet meant. It's obviously there was going to be a massive asteroid coming down onto the map and knocking out one of the parts of the map, and then you get a new feature in the map. Obviously, we're going to get all new skins and cosmetics, all your stuff to make your character look the way you want. Is also obviously when you purchase the season pass. Now there's lots of unlockables. And but it's distinct. They're calling it superhero flair. It's that's the whole idea. Is like you're now turning more into the superhero kind of sense of it now, instead of like more of like the warrior. It's more of a superhero theme. As there you can now get. I've seen that you can even get kind of a Wonder Woman costume, or even a big glider, like one of the other Avengers. I think Falcon is that one. So you can do lots of different stuff that might fall into that other I want to call it the what is that, Marvel Creative Universe, MCU. That's what kind of looks like it's crossing over there. Just grabbing a little bit of it, but instead of Wonder Woman's more DC. Obviously, we know that here. Yeah, if you have, it's going to give you an option. So season pass aspect of it, you probably get some stuff with that, and then obviously the unlockables for this season are all on theme and kind of go along with it. So yeah, we have. Their developer. Epic Games. It's currently. It's kind of growing. The fact that you always want a new thing. You got to give these guys credit. There's always going to be a new thing. It is one of the most popular video games in the world. Obviously now, when you can offer something for free to download, you don't have to go to the store and buy it or worry about it. You just go press the button and download it on your console. Obviously, you're going to probably have some in-game pays. It only took so long after we had Clash of Clans and all those other games. Pretty much Clash of Clans. There's other games that it's so many different names, but Clash of Clans is the big one where you had it downloaded for free. But then, if you really want to get into the game further and actually play the game like you're supposed to play it, you have to spend a little bit of money, or you're going to be prodding along. Unless you're, one of those people who, unlike me, who has the patience in order to wait for your stuff to load up and for things to grow and whatever you have to do in order to wait and reap the rewards of the game. This game's kind of the same way, where you're going to be able to play at a base level for as long as possible, but then they're going to be probably buying stuff within the game. They reported that the Epic Games made nearly $126 just in February alone, and it was the most. This game was the most watched on Twitch and on YouTube. So we already had that big wave of Minecraft. It's always a new thing. We had Minecraft. You had PewDiePie on Minecraft was putting on his YouTube channel, getting millions of people watching that stuff. Now everybody's on Fortnite. I mean, honestly, if there was a game to watch live with somebody streaming, I think I've said this before, either watch a live stream of it or a recording of the live stream on YouTube. Fortnite would be pretty fun to watch because it's just so whimsical and obviously has the basis of a first-person shooter game where you're obviously still battling it out there, like with weapons and your warriors and stuff like that. But I mean, it's kind of fun where it has more of like a animated type feel to it versus kind of like where Call of Duty, they're trying to make it look so realistic and everything, versus Fortnite, they kind of took care of the actual gameplay and like the actual functionality of the game versus having to worry about all the graphics and stuff like that, making it not taking as much of a time to do all that kind of stuff. That's my thing on Fortnite. Really a quick little update, but I just wanted to give my 2 cents on how these games, I mean, obviously we have Players Unknown Battlegrounds. So, Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, that's how you say it. Pug. That's kind of the same little thing, but not a little. I mean, obviously it's a different kind of game, but it's the same kind of concept where you're about downloading for free. You're playing on a massive server base, but then you start paying when you want to get further and more advanced into the game as you go along. All right. To the next thing on this gaming, we're going gaming on this segment. The long-awaited. I mean, we have been waiting for it. I remember seeing the pictures for it a long time ago. I think it was like early last year. I saw pictures for this, but the Atari VCS, the latest Atari. I mean, they're kind of going retro. Obviously, it was teased at E3 in 2017, but yeah, it's been a year about. That's why I thought it has now a pre-order date, and it's gonna be May 30th. So one more month. And all you Atari freaks out there Atari fans and freaks and whatever, or just get people looking for a cool little, it's a cool piece of technology. It's a cool piece of hardware, honestly. If you look at the picture of it, it's very sleek. It's got the kind of retro wood grain on the front of it. It looks really nice. So, I mean, if you guys, it is inspired by the Atari 2600 video computer. So, I mean, why not? People are going to, I think, could be claiming for this. I mean, if you're Atari, you're probably going to be, or the parent company for Atari, you're going to be pretty happy, I think, with your sales, especially when you start doing pre-orders. You've been teasing it for this long. People are kind of clamoring for it. And I know that there's going to be some serious sales on this one, because especially with that pre-order day, everybody's kind of, we're already getting reports of a pre-order day a month in advance. People are like, I have to, count down 30 more days to buy this. But yeah, it's going to look, it obviously does look retro, but it's not retro. It's AMD did get in a partnership with with Atari. AMD is they make the processors, kind of like Intel's competitor. They made a custom processor that runs Linux for the Atari, and it does which makes it does make it capable for running mid-tier PC titles and obviously the classic Atari games. So it's going to be supporting all of your normal and updated resolution features, 4K resolution. It's going to have an HDR and a 60 FPS component. So, I mean, it'll have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5, USB 3. I mean, it's going to have all expandable storage if you don't want to get external hard drive for it. So, it's going to be basically like your normal console that you can get now, a 4th gen console, but it's going to be looking like it's an old one. It's going to look pretty cool. So, it's going to come with a different, so it's also going to be coming with a Vault. So, if you get the Atari VCS, it'll be coming with a Atari Vault, a collection that's going to be having over 100 games, which includes, it looks like Breakout, Gravatar, Centipede, Asteroids, all this different stuff. So, it's going to be, and it's also, they've come out and said, the company has said that it's going to be, and I quote here, a media and streaming content options, an array of it. So, lots of different things, very fast options of entertainment devices or entities, in order for you to be entertained by this Atari VCS console. It's coming out and trying to go a little throwback, little Back to the Future when it comes to consoles that we all like. Obviously, I know we talked about the new Xboxes that came out. Now we're kind of going retro, which everybody likes retro. I think that's the one thing, is the perfect time. Retro is so in, and people are just kind of getting nostalgic. And if you build a console that has the functionality, people don't want to go like use old tech, obviously. But if you can build a console that has the functionality and the new tech that we are used to these days, but also has kind of that cool, easy feel of a older console like like it does, I think it's going to sell like gangbusters. I mean, right now it says it's going to be costing between $200 and $300. So, I mean, it's going to be very much in the price point of people who are going to be wanting to get this, even for just looks and just to have it. So, I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, it's going to be having a lot of different stuff. There's going to be, they'll see how much they haven't quite said exactly what the price is going to be, but it looks like it's going to be costing between $250 and $300. Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing in my reports here. All right. So that's it for this kind of little gaming segment. In the next segment, we're going to go over the Apple iPhone and some issues that's going around with it, whether it's the more stuff with the fact they're kind of trying to figure out what they're going to do next, or some lawsuit stuff, some legal stuff that's happening with the camera. So we'll report on that when we get back.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast, dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
All right, welcome back, GSMC Technology Podcast. All right, we're going to go over some stuff. Oh, speaking of that Fortnite stuff, I will post the link with all of the information regarding the season 4 release, and there are some stats and different stuff going along with it regarding bug fixes and issues and stuff like that. So it's going to be looking like that. So I know that they're calling it the Dusty Divot, LOL, because it looks like it's a big crater. I'm looking at the new map right now of Fortnite, but I'll be putting that link for all that stuff, all the little text, all the little information stuff regarding the changes for when it comes to season 4. I'll put those in the show notes, so be sure to look at that. All right. This segment, we're going over some stuff with the iPhone. I know there's been issues with the sales. Actually, sales numbers have not been there. If it's time to hit panic mode or trying to hit the uh-oh button, it is probably now, as it's going to be kind of done times. We're done now talking big numbers when it comes to iPhone sales. And Apple was expecting to have a big year, expecting to have quite the sales year when it comes to this fiscal in 2017 with the new release of the iPhone 10, which was iPhone 10 it started at $99.99, which is $200 more than the iPhone 8, which was released at the same exact time as the 10. And there's the iPhone 8 Plus, so it's going to be, it was $300 more than the regular sized iPhone, $200 more than the iPhone 8 Plus. So if you even wanted a bigger screen, you can get it for cheaper than this iPhone 10. I know it had come out with the Face ID and a more screen edge to edge with a bezel-less design and the no home button, which is all cool. It is a good phone. I've talked plenty of nice things about the phone in general, but definitely haven't been enough to make Apple, I don't know what I call it. I don't want to say solvent, but I want to say happy or looking like they're going to be having a good year when it comes fiscally. They're saying that we've seen a decline over the years, that people are kind of getting they're getting content with this technology. They aren't getting all goo goo gaga over. There are obviously a good amount of people who are, but not the masses, the absolute masses, which gives Apple the numbers it wants. And whether it's more competition or better, or even more, that's definitely a part of it. The fact there is more competition, and the fact that Samsung has come out with some pretty nice phones, and it's in the last few years as well, and people are trying to, or maybe getting pushed over there to that side, whether it's by their carriers or by the fact that Samsung is doing a better marketing job. But looks like that. It looks like that Apple might not be reaching the numbers at once that expected, because I mean they come and customers, I mean, they got pumped enough about the new features on the iPhone 10 if whoever wasn't, but they still need a new phone. Okay, here's the iPhone 8. So maybe the combination of the two phones, the sales of the two phones might be all right, but it looks like that the Apple is another company that's going to be having to maybe go back to the drawing board. I know I've talked about the fact they're running out of space on the phone, or they might be deciding to get, I mean, I've been seeing reports, they might be deciding to get rid of the adapter that allows you to plug in your, like a regular ring tip sleeve headphone jack, like a regular one, into the adapter that goes into the lightning cable, because now they got rid of the headphone jack on pretty much everybody's phone. I don't know. I think the iPhone SE might have one, or they might put it back. I've also seen that before too. So what are they running out of room? What are they going to put on here? Put a speaker somewhere else? It's just going to be ridiculous. It's going to be kind of crazy. What they could possibly be doing? Yeah, weird. All right, next thing up. I mean, they are facing Apple more problems for them, obviously, when it comes to the iPhone, but they might be actually facing a lawsuit regarding the patent of the iPhone 10 camera. The new camera, I remember everybody was that usually our cameras, I know I have this iPhone 7 Plus and it has the double camera, but it's horizontal. They changed the new one on the 10 to vertical, so the camera's up and down with the flash little thing in the middle. But now it says it's facing a lawsuit as a Israel-based startup Fortnite company. It's called Fortnite. They filed a lawsuit against Apple for infringing on patents. So I mean, it's going to be having an interesting little battle in there with the startup company from Israel, but they're claiming that the company did approach Apple about joining in on their technology regarding the dual lens on the dual lens technology, actually. So it's having the two cameras on there, obviously, which has been I mean, the iPhone 7 Plus has a dual lens, and it's just obviously the upgraded version of that. And it looks like that the Apple did not take them up on their offer to help with the development of that phone. However, the company is alleging that when Apple to basically take their blueprints and use it anyways, without their permission. So it's saying it's infringed on the patents with the dual. Okay. Yeah, I mean, so they're saying it did happen with the iPhone 7 and it's happened ever since this phone. The phone I have, obviously, the first time they ever used a dual camera, this company's like, no, you guys have been doing it since the iPhone 7. I mean, I thought I only saw iPhone 8 on here when I was checking these with my notes, but now I'm looking back at the information. It's like, nope. iPhone 7 too. Apple doesn't care, but it looks like that they're the fact that this company actually met with Apple and discussed the technology with them, but Apple didn't decide to take them up on the offer to join. But Apple was like, "Oh, here, show." It looks like Apple kind of did a little show and tell situation. It's like, oh, "Okay, we see what you did there," and then they're like, "Okay, we're going to do it ourselves," but they're going to take their stuff. So now we have a new lawsuit, which I mean, obviously adds more fuel to the flame, or more, I mean, vegetables to the soup, if you want to give me more. Let's think of another analogy here. But it looks like there's another lawsuit with the second patent that has been infringed upon, and it looks like that Apple might be having some issues here. I mean, the question is, how did they infringe on the patents? What did they exactly do to infringe on the patents? Obviously, what we need, seems like patent law is pretty cut and dry. If you have a patent for something and somebody used it, that same technology, I mean, there's probably little teeny things that you can do differently that might keep you away from doing the exact way the patent is. You can get multiple patents for things that are just a little bit different, obviously, but it's going to have to demonstrate, this company is going to have to demonstrate that Apple could not have made the technology by themselves without the help of them. Basically, they're saying, you wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't show you what we did, what was going on with us. But They're going to have to prove that, basically. Prove that Apple only used just their tech, and the fact that they showed them their tech when they met with them, that's the only way Apple was able to come up with this dual camera technology, even though I think it's kind of been, I don't know, I feel like there's been multiple phones already before. Even Apple is usually the last person to the table, because they want to, when it comes to like the new stuff on phones, whether it's dual cameras or bigger flash or bigger screen or something like that, they usually want to figure it out and do it the best way they can. So they don't really care about how early they come out with it or being the first company to do it. Usually Samsung or a Motorola, HTC, they usually come out with something better, bigger or more cameras like this before Apple does, because Apple wants to make it the way they make it, or they're just going to be taking this stuff from Core Photonics, the Israeli-based startup company. But yeah, they're going to have to do some work in court coming up and prove that Apple could not have done what they did without the input from Core Photonics, and then they probably will get a nice little cash settlement for that one. Because when you're going up against Apple, what can you really expect? All right. So next story, as we come to the end of the second segment, I actually did forget to. I wanted to put this. Let me put this in the title, but I don't know. We're probably okay now. There is a report now. We're kind of going off the iPhone thing, but from an app you probably use a lot on your iPhone, Twitter, that is, we have a report saying that they have signed deals, television deals with 30 different companies, whether it's ranging from Disney, NBC, and Viacom. It looks like there's 30 different publishers in order to get more content on their app. I know that Disney is going to be allowing more of a not low res, but just definitely a lower version of a quick. I know for those who are sports fans and tech fans out there, you can go and watch Sports Center on your Snapchat. We're probably going to have something like that similar on Twitter. It looks like that there also is going to be deals with NBC and Fox in order to have more sports highlights on the phones on your Twitter. So it's going to come up right on the Twitter, probably in the news section. We're also going to have with Viacom, and there's going to be new show formats called I know there's going to be one called BET Breaks that focuses, looking at African American perspective on pop culture. There's going to be also one called the Comedy Central's Creator Room. It's going to be looking at different steps of more satirical view of pop culture and stuff like that. We're going to have more of a lighthearted side of that side. I know we're going to have, like I said, Sports Center Live is going to be something that Disney is going to be bringing on to that platform. So it looks like the Twitter is kind of getting on that same thing with Snapchat and getting more of these video updates with these companies that are able to just put their content more out there and for more ears to grab on and listen to. So it looks like the Twitter is getting on there. Obviously, they still have stuff from different services, whether it's BuzzFeed, Vice News, Huffington Post, or Vox Media. So it's going to be having a lot of different stuff from all those kind of things. I know they definitely have 30 different things. I know this was a new update. I saw this. I'm like, we got to talk about this. The fact that Twitter is obviously trying to get off. The way it started with 140 characters, and you can do whatever you want. Go ahead, and now we're getting a voice to all these different people. Just people who should be using Twitter and shouldn't be using Twitter. I know people use it as a news service. People use it to get information. I use it as a news service because you can tell when there's verified accounts, whether it's from a news station like CNN, or you're going to AP has their own Twitter account that gives quick news. I know there's an app where you can check and find out if there's an earthquake. It records every earthquake. It's a robotic app. Account that tells you every time there's an earthquake. This is an example. You can get tons of information from Twitter. And it looks like now they're trying to get more into this video service where they're going to have more like mini shows and updates touch your fingers. As I know Snapchat kind of does the same thing from lots of different publications, and it looks like the Twitter is getting in on that slice of the pie from various different outlets. Like I said, Disney, NBC, E! Network is going to have something on there. Vice News, that'll be interesting too. I know Vice News has one on Snapchat, But I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. I know Snapchat is more of like, it seems more like a tabloid kind of thing for Snapchat, because they're trying to push a lot of celebrity stuff. Maybe we'll see a lot more actual real news, like information and updates, because Twitter is a little more real time. They're going to update it quicker, and it's all about when this was posted, versus Snapchat's the whole 24-hour clock kind of thing. I feel Twitter is more fast time, real time kind of stuff, where they're going to actually update, like especially if there's breaking news and stuff like that. So it looks like that the partnership, when it was announced, it pushed Twitter shares up 4.5%. So if you're an owner of Twitter stock, y'all like this story, the fact that it's making those traders happy, and looking like Twitter is getting more viable as a blue chip stock out there, as we're talking about finances, business, and technology all together here on the GSMC Technology Show. As we come to the end of this second segment, we're going to talk about, in this third segment, there's lots of stuff going on. Obviously, we have some interesting things going on with the Oculus VR headset, and obviously some new accessories coming out for your phone. So we're going to talk about that in the next segment when we get back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be, visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Technology Podcast. This is the third segment of today's show on a Tuesday. I've been your host, Tom Doherty. Now we're going to get into some stuff regarding some of your favorite VR headsets and virtual reality equipment. I know that there has been a myriad of different options when it comes to VR equipment and VR headsets. I mean, we have the Gear, Samsung Gear VR. There's the HTC has come out with, developed the Vive Pro and the Vive Focus, which are both VR headsets. Google has a VR headset now. Oculus, which is Facebook's parent company, is Facebook for Oculus. Just to let you know as that. But Facebook-run company is coming out with a new headset called the Oculus Go, and it is actually going to be more of that midpoint. It's more affordable. It's going to be, more affordable if you think $200 is affordable. But for a VR headset that could be having the capabilities of a much more expensive, something that you could think would be much more expensive, people are going to be clamoring for that, which they were, as it was already released at midnight last night on Amazon. The pre-order, I know that there was a placeholder date. People are saying it's a placeholder date. The release would have been at the end of the year, December 31st. People are thinking it's going to be coming out much sooner than that, especially with the pre-order already being available on Amazon last night and today. But if you're listening to this now, you have to wait a little longer, as it's already been too long to pre-order one of these things on Amazon. It was sold out within hours. Amazon does not know when they're going to get more in stock, but it looks like that it's going to be a pretty big deal, as right now today at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Pacific time on this Tuesday that I'm doing the show, there is a thing going on. It's called the F8, I don't know if it's conference or summit or what they call it, but it is for Facebook developers. But there's going to be launches going on all over Facebook. As know, this Go VR headset will be given. I think they're thinking they're going to be giving it away to the developers to get more. I mean, when you give developers technology like this, they can just start developing apps and different things to be put on this platform, is what it's for. So it's going to be coming out, and it's going to be released with a little remote, and it's going to be having, I think it said, people are saying it's going to be a 32 or 64 gig option, which is about the storage capacity that we thought was going to happen when it came out. But it definitely, I mean, we've had pictures of it seen in display cases at Best Buy from Reddit. We've seen different stuff regarding the idea that Facebook has given away these headsets before to developers. I know they gave away Gear VR headsets to the Oculus Connect attendees, but now so there is a little bit of a, I don't know, say precedent. I mean, yeah, precedent of the fact that they've done this before. So I wouldn't be surprised to do it again. I know Mark Zuckerberg is talking today at the event, the F8 event at Facebook. So for this Go VR. Oculus Go VR was unveiled in October. I mean, we're waiting all the way till May 1st to get a pre-order date on Amazon, but which for it to be released much later in the year. But the fact that they already have them all boxed up and ready to go in a looks like in a Best Buy in a storefront, those people who pre-ordered them on Amazon might be getting them sooner rather than later. But it has been promised to come out, and it has been is going to be saddled with a 2560 by 1440 display with a Snapdragon class mobile processor. So it's going to be for basic head tracking. It's going to have speakers that will come up with like a single controller. So it's going to start out when for that 32, the lower storage spaced one is going to be coming out at $200 and $199. Of course, $200 for that, the smaller version of it. There hasn't been a price released for the more. I can imagine probably double this, or maybe at least $100 more for the 64 gig. But it's not going to require a computer or a smartphone. It's going to be running all the Gear VR apps. It's going to have a headset, basically already a screen in it, and it's going to be kind of that midpoint between the Oculus Rift, which is a computer tethered headset. Which, I mean, people I know you can go on YouTube and watch people get freaked out by the Oculus Rift, put them in a roller coaster simulation, and all of a sudden their legs turn into jelly. But yeah, so it looks like that they are going to also be coming out with a standalone model, just like this VR Go or Go VR model, but they're going to be coming out with another higher end model that's going to be a little more expensive and be kind of another more, maybe they're kind of compacting the Oculus Rift technology that may be the same quality as the Oculus Rift, but not needed to be tethered to a computer. You can have a mobile version, a standalone version. I know that's still in the works there. All right. So more news when it comes to the AI and this whole VR stuff going on. Google has developed a new feature for their AI headset, for their VR headsets, that includes controller assist AI. So it's looking for tracking regarding it's following your eye motions. I mean, I know the tethered headsets already have this when it comes to, like, because I mean, the more computing power, the more you can do. It's harder to do all the kind of. I mean, versus getting it done on a PC or on a set-top desktop versus doing it on a mobile application is even more difficult. So that's always we all have to start somewhere. But it looks like that Google is trying to get this technology to work on their tethered headsets when it comes to positioning tracking devices for when it comes and using sensors for controllers and stuff like that. So it's trying to get all this stuff figured out for headsets, obviously, when it's coming to wireless connection of a controller and stuff like that. Comes to using hand motions or tracking using the basically gestures and tracking the positions of the user's hands and arms. So instead of using maybe like a signaled motion. So when it comes to actually having that in VR, when you're actually looking, you can't see through the thing. You're looking at the screen, whereas actually you're supposed to be looking like you're in a different reality. The whole point is virtual reality. You can't see your hands and arms, your real hands and arms at least. And they're going to put cameras on the outside, two fisheye cameras on the outside of that screen in order for itself to video your hands and arms for itself, and then use it to translate into the game, which is kind of the whole point. So if, say, you're holding, instead of having to wear like a those little glove things that to transmit data back to the headset, or using a controller, it'll just be able to look and use a 6 degree technology and they call it 6 degrees of freedom is the thing. So they're trying to figure out this controller tracking where you actually have freedom where you can use your extremities to the fullest extent without having to wear anything or use a controller. So Google is working on that, where they're trying to use this position tracking, whether maybe you put something over your finger or much more smaller proprietary technology in order to get it where we want to go regarding all this VR craze. I know there's lots of different stuff going on. We're trying to get, that's the thing. Google has come out and said that in a quote, they did come out and say in this quote that their key observation is that users' hands and arms provide excellent context for where the controller is in the image, obviously. So if somebody has a controller in their hand, they're going to be holding it, and they're going to be able to try and use that controller as a basis in order to have it predict and track people's hand and arm movements. All right, next one up. We have some new stuff coming out as we have this I don't know if people have heard of the Oculus. It's an Oculus camera lens. You don't need a case for it. I know there's been stuff in the past where we have these external camera enhancers that you need a case for. But it looks like there's a new technology out there, new product out there that you can just kind of clip onto the iPhone. I know it comes out. There's one for the iPhone 10. So you can get one of these clips that are going to be making your camera. You turns your iPhone camera into more of a professional camera. So it looks like that this auto clip is puts right on your phone, and it'll give you different setups and more interchangeable lenses for your iPhone. Obviously, you don't have to have a case on it. You used to have you have to put this whole case on in order to have a interchangeable lens and such like that. So now this auto clip, it kind of clips right on there, and there's definitely different handsets and abilities for it to use. So it's going to be this new Connect X system. They're calling it the Connect X system that is like a reversible sleeve. Not like it's more of a clip that kind of goes on, less like the reversible sleeve that used to be. It used to be for these Oculus clips, they kind of just slid on there, versus now it's going to be clipping onto the phone, and it's been going right on the corner of your phone, so it can kind of have. It looks more sleek. It looks more like it's kind of meant to be there. So it's going to be doing your camera a little more of a service and using that. Using the ability, so you can say, okay, I'm looking at a video of it. It just clips right on the side of the camera there. You press a little button, and it's kind of foolproof. So you can just lock right into place, and it'll be seated on there nicely. You can go use your. That's pretty cool. I want to get one of these things so you can. I see I have one for the iPhone 7 Plus. No, it looks like they have the clip ones are for the iPhone 10. It just slides right on the side there and enhances your camera out there. So it's going to be. Taking better pictures. The iPhone 10s take really good pictures of themselves, I think, already. I've taken, even with my phone now, the iPhone 7 Plus, I've gone to sporting events and such, and just, you press that button, or there's a whole slow-mo camera, obviously, and also you can just, if you snap a bunch of pictures all at once, you're going to get one pretty clear image, and it's pretty good at taking pictures in motion. So maybe this is more of a telephoto lens kind of thing where you're going to be able to zoom further with the Oculus. I don't know. I don't like saying that. Oculus. It's OLLOCLIP. Oculus. Or Oliclip. But yeah, no, it looks like that you can definitely get some more when it comes to this. All these different lenses. They have a super wide angle lens, fisheye lens, and a 15 times macro lens. So yeah, so like a telephoto lens where it's going to let you zoom in really far. It's not really for more of like I said, high speed photography. It's for different kinds of framing and stuff like that regarding a super wide angle. If you want to get a fisheye kind of thing, which is, I think it's kind of silly, but it's, people like it. It looks kind of cool if you do it right. But it looks these different. You can get 3 different lenses with the photography box set. That's it sells at $100. So yeah, you get that super wide lens, your fisheye, and your 15 times macro, which is pretty cool. So it looks like you get that whole set for $100, but if you get them individually, they still cost between $90 and $100. So I would get that. I would definitely get that that box set. But as I'm looking at the comparison pictures here versus the regular iPhone picture, the super wide and the 18 millimeter wide, definitely a lot more exposure in these pictures, and you're getting a better image quality. But then also you can zoom in faster and use that wide angle lens to get more of what you want. Yeah, so definitely clearer when it comes to the zoom, because sometimes when you zoom in too far, it gets really blurry. So it's definitely using that macro lens to zoom in and keep that picture quality right where you want it to be. All right, that'll do it for this third segment. In the last segment, we're just going to do some news updates. I have some stories here I just want to touch on. They're not all really worth a whole segment in themselves, but I'll just touch on them as we go along. I know, like I talked about, Microsoft has come out with a new comparison or competition for Gmail as they changed over their whole interface, and they redesigned their whole look. So Microsoft has done kind of the same thing, and I'll be going over some more stuff. I know there's some more apps regarding some CEO movement around this tech world, so I'll be right back with all that kind of stuff. Just a sec.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's gsmcpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
All right, welcome back. GSMC Technology Podcast, the final segment of today's show on a Tuesday. A few things to bring your attention here as we have some news out of more Facebook stuff. I feel like Facebook, they own every company I've talked about almost, except for, Oculus for sure, but in Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Facebook owns. If you didn't know, they also own WhatsApp, the messaging software and messaging application. So it looks like that their CEO, Jan Koum, is deciding to leave, and it could cost him some serious cabbage. There's a report saying that his sudden leave from Facebook could cost him up to $1 billion in stock awards. He is the CEO of the messaging app that is called, it's called WhatsApp. A little play on words there with WhatsApp. But Facebook does own, it is a subsidiary of Facebook, and Koum is deciding to leave and will not be getting, they have obviously some more vesting dates. He had 3 final vesting dates of a restricted stock unit that was tied to the $22 billion purchase of WhatsApp in 2014. So he needed to stay along, and he would have got that extra just an extra $1 billion. I guess Mr. Koum does not really care to mind about that because he's on to bigger and better things, it looks like, for himself. It definitely is sending shockwaves through the messaging world and through this Facebook world. Obviously, there's different reports saying that it could be cowardly, could be affecting users to a certain extent. I think Facebook has a pretty good grasp on what's going on when it comes to WhatsApp. But it looks like that the other founder, the other founder said that, maybe you should even delete your face. There's a whole delete Facebook movement kind of thing, especially after this issue. I think what's going on is that this guy created an app, sold it to Facebook, was told that was thinking Facebook is a forthright company, and Facebook gets caught up in the scandal, and it's going all downhill. He's going like, I'm getting out while I can. They say it's cowardly because of the fact that I think it's cowardly to think that now you can, get some more cash in the back end of it. But no, he's getting out now when he can. And I think that even when the other guys, his other founder, the co-founder of WhatsApp, saying that maybe you should just move over to the other secure messaging app. There's one called Signal, which is, I think that's the WhatsApp's biggest rival, and go away from. The fact that we might be owned by Facebook, but we don't like what they're doing, so we're going to get out what we can. They kind of ruined our brainchild here, our baby. they made the decision to sell to Facebook. Obviously, they were able to stay on and work for the company that they created, even though it was under the umbrella that is Facebook now, owning a lot of different companies at this point of this juncture. But it looks like that they've always been pro privacy. WhatsApp, I mean, that was the whole idea of the messaging app that came out. It's all double encrypted. Everything is super pro user, pro privacy. No information really gets out. It's really hard to get things off of the app, whether it's information of people that, I mean, it's a secure messaging app. It's pretty much, it is what it is. That's pretty much says all you need to say about it. And when Facebook did not get secure and wasn't secure, and they had all these problems with breaches don't that's the opposite of security. So these guys definitely were feeling mistrusted and having some issues with the fact that this Cambridge Analytica scandal has lasted so long. So they're deciding to get out, or he's deciding to get out when he can. And yeah, he'll be losing some money, but I guess it's a sense of pride, sense of kind of things now. So both those founders are gone. I think Brian Acton already had left well before this. But it looks like they're both gone, and no one's there to kind of be in charge of this app that I don't know what Facebook's idea is. They already have Facebook Messenger, but it's more of I think WhatsApp was more of a thing where you don't have to necessarily be friends on Facebook. Obviously, if you're to message on Facebook Messenger, you have to be friends with somebody on Facebook. But on Facebook Messenger, you kind of just get their number. It works like, I know when my grandmother's out of the country, I use WhatsApp because it's easier for her. So you don't have to be in a Wi-Fi scenario in order to get iMessage to work or something like that. You could just use the WhatsApp, and it'll go seamlessly. I know now that they definitely are trying to right the wrong that Facebook has gotten themselves into. Maybe the fact that I know Coom has had some, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, C-O-U-M, Coom is had some issues. The fact that Facebook was trying to get some of the WhatsApp user data as well, but WhatsApp's always been a company that has, like I said, has been prideful on the whole idea of pro privacy, pro user, and Facebook trying to go and snag a bunch of their stuff, maybe pull and rank or something like that, which we'll see. I mean, you never know what Facebook actually did in order to try and get the information. But Coom is now, whether he's getting out of the way or he's, I think that's the problem here. That's why that we're having some people actually not be happy with the fact that Coom is departing. It's definitely leaving users in a vulnerable state where now Facebook can get somebody in charge of that entity, in charge of this company, and put the users at risk. Maybe just like, okay, well, he's gone, now we can go in and start getting all that data. But I mean, maybe he waited till just an opportune moment where Facebook wouldn't be the best idea for Facebook to just go and do that all of a sudden. So he waited. Okay, I'll wait. Now I'm going to be going, and I'll make my own thing. It says that he's going to be leaving the company to grow his Porsche collection. That's just kind of probably a little satirical joke, but yeah, we also have. They wanted to. The whole idea was the fact that both those guys, Brian Acton and John Coom, were having some issues, and they definitely opposed the fact that WhatsApp, their data might be used to unify. Well, no, they said it might be informed to the whole idea of the fact that they want to unify this Facebook profile services, whether it's going to be all in one. They already have their Facebook Messenger. I think the fact that they just owned them but kept them in a separate entity and let them operate autonomously was the way to go. But I think they probably were encroaching on that fact, and the fact that probably that arrangement was going to end sooner rather than later. So they decided to get out of there and take it and go about their business the right way, because it looks like Facebook's about to ruin WhatsApp for all of us. I don't know how many people really use it on a daily basis. I'm sure it's probably a lot, a few million, I could imagine, because it's a pretty popular service. So that's going to be interesting for people to start getting used to. But yeah, more stuff to get on. I know, like I said, Microsoft, so we're kind of just going through the good grab bag here. Microsoft has added a new mail calendar and different features across its mobile devices as well as desktop for various Outlook clients and people like who use the Microsoft email service that's Microsoft Outlook, and that this is for business professionals out there and for people who use this. I know my dad uses this, but they're going to have different services, whether it's bill pay reminders, event locations and meeting rooms, RSVP tracking, and forwarding. I mean, it's going to work. Obviously, it's going to be more integrated across multiple time zones when it comes to scheduling and different calendar grids. It's going to be showing organizational directory details, proxy support. It's going to give you warnings on blind carbon copy. So it said now they're going to be able to warn a user who is replying to an email if they were carbon blind copied, so they can only choose to reply back to the sender instead of replying back to everybody else, which seems like a feature that already should have been on there. But it looks like now that these features will be released this month and also being continued to roll out some next month. So there's going to be new features coming out next month as well. So regarding that across all the different platforms, mobile and desktop. So for you Microsoft Office Outlook users out there, just want a little heads up on that one. Amazon is launching a new subscription service to send a book box for children, so it's actually pretty cool. It looks like that they're trying to. It's going to be called the Prime Book Box. It's going to be $23 for a subscription, and it's going to be trying to get your kids reading again. I remember Amazon, their whole where they started was books. That's where you got all your books and books on tape. And I know they have Audible.com, which is a Amazon service that you can listen to books on tape. I'm listening to Game of Thrones right now on tape. Or it's not on tape; it's digitally, but it's the audio book of the Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire series. But yeah, it looks like the Amazon is trying to get better reading habits back into their kids, as we're trying to get those. I remember now it's everybody has a tablet in their hand. Yeah, you can read off your tablet, but you're probably playing a video game on your tablet. So I remember when I was a kid, I read all the Harry Potters. I mean, there was multiple series. It was all about the series. I mean, we've had a couple. We had the Divergent series and Hunger Games coming out now. And this is a technology podcast, Tom, but it's okay. It's crossover. It's all going to come together. Amazon is a technology company at its basis, and they're but yeah, no. Everybody in my age, I'm listening to watching Harry Potter, reading Harry Potter. There was multiple series out there that I got into. I know there was the whole Twilight thing that didn't get into that, but that was a big deal. Got people reading, which is nice. So now Amazon's trying to jump on that, kind of get back everybody to reading stuff, and they're going to have a subscription where it's going to send you, for its Prime members, they'll send you specifically for hardback copies of children's books and have been hand selected by editors at Amazon. So we'll be beginning to ship later this year, and you could register for an invitation starting today. So you could send somebody. Looks like it will register for an invite, and it'll get you going on that as soon as they start releasing these book boxes. So it'll be pretty cool. So it's going to be sending you the 4 books for board books for kids that are like little kids. And then, or a little bit novels for slightly more advanced readers, and $22 price tag says. I mean, it's going to be probably a little bit about 40% savings on whether if you were to buy the books by itself. So it's going to be categorized. It's going to be ages 2, 3 to 5, 5 to 8, and then 9 to 12. So it is for the younger market. We'll see. They'll probably get, and this is probably just a start. We're probably going to get into a more of a teen go of it too. I know they're probably going to expand this as far as they can. All right. So just to touch on what we talked about today, we went over the Oculus VR or Oculus Go VR, the new technology from Oculus, which is also owned by Facebook, and their technology is coming out. Their new stuff coming out as we have the F8 event right now going on. It's going to be starting in about an hour and a half my time right now, as I record this podcast today on a Tuesday morning here at the GSMC Podcast Network. Of course, I've been Tom Doherty, and just like we talked about the Atari video game, we talked about Fortnite and the Season 4 update for those of you who like Fortnite or or maybe need some more incentive to get out there. It's being updated, it's being new. Go play some Fortnite if you haven't done it already. And then obviously talking about the iPhone issues with the iPhone 10 patent with the camera. So we've gone over a lot of different stuff today. And then also on Thursday, we're probably going to go over a couple more stuff when I know Google is going to be having a big I/O show, I/O 2018 show today. It looks like, or tomorrow. I think is it going to be today or tomorrow? They're going to be announcing a bunch of stuff. So we'll be talking about that, whether it's through all of the hands-free stuff with your phones or also in your cars. Everybody's got a little screen in their car now. It's going to be all different stuff going on with the hands-free technology. So we'll talk about that on Thursday. Yes, the conference will be coming out. Also be going through all of next week as well too. So we'll probably preview that on Thursday and talk about the conference as it all happens next week. So until then, everybody enjoy their week. We'll be back on Thursday, like I said, for another technology episode. So until then, everybody go and play with your gadgets. Go play some Fortnite. Go pre-order the Atari VCS. It's gonna be pretty cool. So especially if you like that retro stuff. So until then, I'll see you later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.